I went to Chicago for a couple of days and I thought I just need a break from life and from this helpful content update. I've been spending the last 2 weeks watching my data and watching my traffic essentially disappear into the ether, never to be seen again, it would seem, as well as all of my rankings and my affiliate commissions. And so, I came back and I thought, let's see maybe if stuff got better. And it didn't. It did change, but it seems like it actually has gotten worse. It seems like Google is intent on nearly killing off my website, or at least I can hear its death rattle a little bit now. So I'm going to share with you what I've seen over the last couple of days, as well as some head scratchers that still don't make sense to me as far as what I am seeing in some of these rankings. I'll be curious to hear what you all think, as well as I'm going to give you some of the actionable things that I am starting to actually do now that this update is complete, and some thoughts on where I think this is headed. My name is Rob. I started this website just a couple of weeks ago, actually right whenever this content update hit, not realizing the massacre that was getting ready to unfold in front of us, because I just wanted to share what I learned over the last couple of years through blogging, which helped me to earn about 5 million impressions over the last 12 months, and how I learned to make affiliate sales and affiliate commissions through my website as just some regular bozo from the Midwest that was not a genius or expert by any means, hoping that maybe an average guy doing it could help average people like yourself doing it. Of course, now we're in a totally different situation because every video has been content update, because it has been absolutely crazy. So I'm going to share with you what I am seeing over the last couple of days, where I think this is headed, and some of the actionable things that I'm actually starting to do now that this update is quote unquote done. So if you're into blogging and you want to make affiliate commissions and sales, and that's also your wheelhouse too, hit subscribe and we're going to climb out of this hole together. But let's get into it. So first, let's start with the analytics, specifically the users in the last 30 minutes, which is a metric that I watch in real time a lot. I've just kind of got it set up over to the side. Whenever this update hit, I obviously started seeing it drop. But at least during the update period, I was still seeing some double-digit numbers. I was seeing a lot of 6, 7, and 8, but I was still seeing 10, 11, 12, 13. Rarely did I get over 13, which still stunk because my numbers were normally 25 to like 45. So, but at least it was still double digits. What I've seen since the end of this update is they've actually gotten worse, which tells me that actually things aren't done moving, that the rankings and SERPs are still very volatile. I haven't hardly seen any double-digit numbers over the last couple of days at all. And in fact, if we look at my overall Google Search Console, you'll see here that even if I get rid of my impressions, you can see here I am dropping further. I'm at 155 clicks, whereas I typically average like 12 to 1400 a day for almost like, besides these drops, like basically for the last year. So obviously still 85% of my traffic, sometimes 90% is now gone. So interesting to me to see that it actually, look at this, right? It actually came up here just a little bit at the end of the update. And then after the update, it was like, nope, still going down. And I've actually seen this on Twitter a little bit too. People are talking about like, it's still going. Like, how is this still getting worse? I just think it's not done. I think it's still a volatile situation. There's something else that I wanted to point out here was I did 2 Surfer audits. Surfer SEO is the tool that I've been using up to this point. This is for a keyword 75 hard results. I've done the 75 hard. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm very well versed in the 75 hard challenge. I got a bunch of articles where I try to create an ecosystem of topical authority around the subject. I've got a YouTube channel where I've got a bunch of videos over there as well. I've worked hard to try to create this around the 75 hard challenge, and my articles ranked as that. I was getting good traffic for 75 hard. They're all gone. All of my 75 hard traffic is completely gone, despite me having firsthand experience and being able to deliver information about those. And so, whenever I did these 2 audits, from the time that I did the first one back in February to the new one that I did, they're almost the exact same. This was an 85 score. This one was a 90. And almost all of the metrics that they were looking for in the audits are almost all the same. And I thought that was kind of interesting that they're nearly the same, what they're looking for, the guidelines, but yet mine has been completely removed out of the ecosystem. I also thought it was interesting whenever we look for like 75 hard before and after, if we're talking about what should be ranking, well, you talk about the experience, right? We talk about sort of the authoritativeness. And sometimes you think of those things like websites that like have nice DRs and have traffic. Well, that's the ones that Google picked, right? Well, look at this particular one. This is one that I've been 1, 2, or 3 for almost like the last year. If we look down at the top rankings, we've got a DR28, and this one does have some nice traffic, right? And of course, we have Women's Health, of course, big time website. But let's look at number 3. It has a 0.10 and almost zero traffic website, which is now ranking in the 3rd slot there. And by the way, this is not disparaging to these websites at all, or hitting on whether or not they actually have firsthand experience. I'm simply looking at their website data. And so I'm happy for them for ranking. So I want everybody to know I'm not disparaging anybody here whatsoever. They're probably awesome at what they do. I'm simply looking at the metrics here, right? And trying to figure out like why are things ranking if this is what Google says that they're after. These seem to be somewhat in opposition of that, right? Let's look at number 5, of course. Now we're seeing a lot of Reddit. But let's look at number 6. A DR of 8, almost no traffic here whatsoever. Again, if we go down to number 8, or that was number 6. If we go to number 8, here is a DR5, almost no traffic on this website. Again, they might be experts in the space. I don't know, but it's interesting to me that these sites that don't seem to have very much traction at all are getting ranked over. Now, here's something else I thought was really interesting too. Let's go all the way down to number 14, antifrisella.com. Andy Frisella is the guy that created this program. Like, it's his. Why is he is the authority on this program. Why is he at number 14? And by the way, Google knows he's the authority. This is not a small-time guy. He's got a big-time podcast. He's a motivational speaker. He's got a supplement. Google knows who he is. Why is he so far down the list? That doesn't make any sense to me. Speaking of not making sense, let me show you one more example of something that I don't understand. I've also created an ecosystem around Planet Fitness, the gym, because that's the gym that I go to. I'm there probably 5-6 times a week, and it's been like that for me for years. I know the gym. I know the ins and outs of the gym. I'm a Black Card member. I've got an article about the Black Card. Like, I know firsthand what Planet Fitness is good for, what it's bad for, who's good. I just know. I wrote an article about the Planet Fitness Total Body Enhancement. It's a thing they got in their back. It's basically a red light therapy type of thing. This is a surf audit. Again, 72 was the new one. 72 was the old one. Almost the exact same articles between now and then as far as what Google was ranking in the top 10. But what I found to be interesting about this is Planet Fitness isn't even in the top rankings. Like, how is Planet Fitness not like one of the top ranked? Look, so we got this thing I've never heard of. This I've never heard of. A lot of, like smaller-ish web. I say smaller, but smaller than Planet Fitness, right? They're the expert. It's an article about the Planet Fitness Total Body. How some of this stuff just does not make sense to me. And we look at what is ranking here. Looks like we got a DR12 with a little bit of traffic here, but certainly not more. Probably not more authoritative than the Planet Fitness site, right? We've got a DR7, and I know DR doesn't tell the entire story. I understand that, but just looking at quick metrics, a DR9 with just a little bit of traffic here. So what's going on? I have no idea. There's a lot of head scratching, but the question is what's going to happen now? So what's going to happen next? I think nobody really knows. My guess is that just because the algorithm is in place, I just don't think that means that the actual movement volatility is done based off of what we're seeing here, and still some of this head scratching as far as the rankings go. The fact that a Planet Fitness article doesn't even have Planet Fitness in the top rankings whatsoever, or that the guy that created 75 Hard Challenge and his website and his blogs aren't even ranking for some of the 75 Hard terms, doesn't make any sense to me from an authoritative, experienced, type of standpoint. I'm not sure that I understand it, and especially seeing some of these other websites that I'm sure are great, but from an authoritative standpoint, whenever I look at some of the metrics of those sites, I'm not sure that those make a lot of sense either, and that might still exclude me, and that's okay, but I'm just saying all of this to say I don't think that Google is done with the aftermath of this. I think it feels very much like a two-step thing. Implement the algorithm, disrupt, and then let things start to shake out afterwards. But I could be wrong. I don't think anybody actually knows the answer. But what am I doing right now? So I'm really not trying to change a lot of my website as far as the content goes, because I think it's not settled. But what I am looking for is the experience aspect of the website, experience in terms of user experience. So I'm trying to go through my website and go like, if a user comes here, is this easy to navigate? Does it look good? So like today I was doing image optimization because I got an Ahrefs notification that some of my images were too big or going off of the page. And I realized I haven't done image optimization in many, many months. So I'm going back through doing some of that today, trying to increase user experience. And that's where my attention is going to be at over the course of this next week, is the nuts and bolts of the website, to make sure that, like, if somebody actually gets there, do they have a good experience while they're there? Is it easy to navigate? Does it look good? Are they clicking from one article maybe to the next? Can I keep them on the site? Do I have good internal linking? Things like that. But I'm not changing. I'm not doing a lot of like heavy audits of my articles yet. But I think it's important that we don't start thinking that this is still going to turn around. That's going to put us into a state of inactivity. If we think that the cavalry is coming, then we might just be inclined to sit back and just wait for it. I just don't think that it's coming. If it does turn around, wonderful. But I think that we have to get past the inactivity of like, let's wait this thing out. I think we need to start doing some movements. Don't do anything crazy. Don't start deleting articles. Don't start changing your content crazily, but like start looking at your articles through a different lens than you were before, and start taking some small actions maybe on the back end and the nuts and bolts of the site. But that's it. Man, oh man, what a crazy week. But I did like Chicago. Chicago was a blast. So love Chicago. If you haven't already, if blogging and making money online, look, we're in a hole here. There's no doubt. And I feel almost kind of silly now saying that subscribe to my channel so you can learn about blogging and making money online. But unfortunately, these dips are part of the blogging ecosystem. You got to learn how to deal with these if you want to be a blogger for a consistent amount of time. I've been through other dips. This is just a different monster. But the bigger the monster, the bigger the victory. So let's get to work. We'll see you on the next video. Hit subscribe and like. We'll see you next time. Peace out.